All right, everybody, welcome to the J Word Saturday Business Startups. And as normal, if you're first time here, please subscribe, like the video, give it a thumbs up, and go ahead and leave a comment down below. But we're continuing the series this week on real estate investing. All right, so last week we talked about bird dogging. This week, we're talking about wholesaling or flipping, as I call it. So if you actually want to get my ebook on real estate investing, just comment below, give me the ebook, and I'll get that to you as soon as I possibly can. So remember the 3 steps of real estate. What we talked about in the first video that we did dealing with real estate is, number 1, there is the bird dog. That's the first step in real estate, where you actually learn to go out and look for good deals. That's the job of the bird dog, is actually to point out and find the good deals for the real estate investors or other people. Okay, so bird dogging is number 1. Number 2, what we're going to talk about today, which is wholesaling or flipping. And the third, what we're going to talk about next week, is the complete investor for me. Okay, so today, real estate investing 202, wholesaling or flipping right now. You ready to go? I'm ready to tell you. Okay, so the first thing, what actually is the job of a wholesaler or a flipper? Okay, so if the bird dog's job is actually to go out and find and point out the actual good deals, the wholesaler's job is to tie up the property and then sell the rights to that property. I know it sounds crazy, but the wholesaler's job is to tie up the property and then sell the rights of that property to someone else. Okay, so how does he do that, John? Let me tell you right now. So what a wholesaler has to do is be able to negotiate a really, really good deal. Because for one, another real estate investor is not going to want to deal with it if there's no profit in it. So a wholesaler or flipper has to be able to have some good negotiation skills. Okay, that was one time I had to negotiate a deal for a guy who owned a car wash. He was elderly teachers who were planning on going down to Florida and retiring. Well, the couple wanted to sell their house, their tool shed full of tools and riding lawnmowers and all kind of stuff. And also they wanted to sell their RV. So the RV, the person who was actually buying the house didn't want to buy any of that stuff. He didn't want to pay for the furniture in the house, the RV, or the tools in the back. He just wanted the house. So problem was, they couldn't come to an agreement. So he called me. I got there. I negotiated a great deal. Actually knocked to the house, the selling price down, and negotiated a deal that the tools in the tool shed and all the furniture and all kind of crazy stuff in the house, they had 8 tracks from long ago that would probably be worth a lot of money. I negotiated that there would be a third party that would actually be buying those other additional items, but that those additional items were actually covered in the cost of the purchase. So now, guess who was going to get those additional items? Who do you think was going to be able to get those additional items? You guessed it. It was going to me. I set it up to where I would get all the extra furniture, all the tools in the tool shed, riding mowers, all this extra stuff at no additional cost to the buyer and at no additional hurt from the seller. So you got to have some skills to do some stuff like that, boy. I know I do. So the job of the flipper, the wholesaler, is to actually be able to go in there and negotiate a really good contract where everybody is happy. That is very key. Everybody has to be happy in the situation. It can't be the seller got jabbed or the buyer stuck with too high of a price, because you have a problem at that point. Everybody has to be able to come out of the deal with what they want. that deals with negotiations. If you've never been a salesman, you never had to actually really negotiate deals like that basis. I'm not talking about one time. You actually have to deal with a lot of different objections and a lot of different cold shoulders and turnaways to be able to do this, because people are crazy. People are plumb actually nuts. So when you're dealing and negotiating, everybody's just out for themselves. They want the best for themselves. They don't care about what you want. They don't care about what you need. And as a salesman, which the wholesaler needs to be, they need to be able to go in there and negotiate a perfect deal with the perfect circumstances to close. And that way everybody's happy. They have to be able to know every detail of this transaction and be able to explain it and make sure that both parties will be happy. And somewhere along the line, that wholesaler is going to get some money too. Okay, so that's number one thing. That wholesaler has to be able to negotiate a beautiful contract for everybody. That way, everybody's happy, everybody's ready to proceed with the deal. Second thing that's necessary to do the wholesale flipping, you need to have the right contract. Okay, this is how the actual property is tied up. When it paperwork and pencil or let's say pencil pen is signed on paper, then there is a deal possibility. Until there's something written, there is no deal. There is nothing that can stand up in court. You actually can write a deal on a napkin. Long as it's signed, it can stand up in court. So in order to tie up the property, to keep it under wraps, you have to be able to put this in contract form. Now, everybody can go to Kinko's or the Lowe's or the other places and buy a standard real estate contract, a sales one and a purchase one. Both of them are a little different. But to actually deal with real estate investors, you need to have a custom contract. Now, I don't know whether or not you're going to go to a lawyer and try to find this or you do it yourself. Me, myself, I took some examples of contracts that I found online and through courses, and I modified them. And what is this modification you're talking about, John? What do you got to do to it? Why can't I just take the regular old contract and do it? Well, that regular contract is not set up for real estate investors. It's set up for normal people. Not saying I'm abnormal, I might be paranormal. But the thing of it is that there are certain phrases that we call them clauses, escape clauses, and different clauses that need to be in that contract in order for a real estate investor to cover their ass. CYA. Okay. So those clauses have to be in there. Like I'll give you an example of one. I can't give you the whole thing because there's a lot of them. But one way to get out of a deal is that your contract has to be approved by your partner. The deal has to be approved by your partner. So if you get that clause put into your contract, let's say you find a place and they want 20,000 from you, and what you're trying to do is find a person to flip that contract to for 25,000, but you can't find it. And that means you're going to have to come up with this 20,000 pretty quick. All you have to do is say, "Sorry, my partner didn't approve." Deal's over with. It seemed like a shitty thing to do to the seller, but it protects the investor. It protects you and it protects the investor if they're coming into a deal that doesn't make sense. Maybe you find something wrong with the house after you go through the inspections and your due diligence of seeing if the deal is good, and you find something wrong. Maybe the house is tied up under all type of names on the deeds. Okay, you kill the deal with that one escape clause. Other clauses that you put into it to ensure your security also. There's a whole bunch of them, and if you want things, I'd ask you to do a few things. Subscribe book, okay? And I send that to you as soon as I possibly can. So there's hundreds of clauses that you can use, but you have to custom the contract to stuff that you actually know. And in your real estate investor contract, you don't need to have 17, 18 pages of damn contracts. Look like you have a book. All you need is a one page document, maybe two at the most. And it has everything that's necessary for the deal, who's the parties that are involved, the property, the legal description, all the transaction description, whether or not all the who's going to pay what, who's doing all those things, those normal things, but you can condense it because a lot of stuff you don't need that realtors sometimes X out, just take that shit out. You don't need to have it. So you need to be able to get all the correct clauses in that contract. Number two, when it comes to a contract, just dealing with the contract here, there needs to be some money exchanged, even if it's $1. Because once money is exchanged, the deal is done. It's kind of like when the Indian would come up to a cowboy and they cut their hand, and the other person cut their hand, and they make that blood oath. Well, when $1 comes across the table, buddy, you made a deal with me. It's official. It's official. It's official. When the dollar crosses hands. So what you have to do is make sure that at minimum $1 is given when that contract is signed, because that makes it official. All right. Number three, last thing in flipping. I know there's a lot more stuff. I know you're thinking, oh, my head is going crazy. What about this clause? What about this? How did I understand? Comment below, give me the ebook, and I will send you my basic real estate ebook for free. Simple real estate investing for everybody. You can find out how to do bird dogging, wholesaling, and some actual examples and information on being a complete real estate investor and finishing the deals. So the last thing on flipping or wholesaling is actually finding the real estate investors to get it to. Okay. Once again, we talked about this a little bit on last week when it dealt with bird dogging, right? We dealt with that. So where do you find these real estate investors? Where do you find these guys? Once again, you need to just go to your local real estate investment club. There should be some club. Okay. Also, you can find other investors through the paper. Call their ads that says, we buy houses, we buy homes, sell your home. There's a lot of different ads in the paper. There's signs along the streets. You'll see people, we buy houses today, cash for your house, sell me your house today, cheap, please. All those type of people, you can actually call them, find out what they're looking for to see if you have a match. Because that's all you're doing when you're flipping. You're getting the house for sale on one side. You're getting somebody who want to sell the house on the other side, and you match them two up. And when you squeeze them together, the money that comes out is left to you. So how much do you make flipping contracts? Basically, you're flipping contracts, not flipping houses, but wholesaling a contract. Really depends. Depends on the quality of the contract. It depends on the profit margin that is built into the contract itself. And it depends on your skills, depends on your negotiation skills. But average, just saying average, you can usually flip contracts from anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000. That's just flipping the contract because you have done the due diligence and did the negotiations to negotiate this down to a great deal. You should get paid for that. And you do. You get paid anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 normally if you have a good deal secured with a good contract. And believe me, those investors are going to want to see that contract. They're going to want to do their due diligence. They're going to look it up, make sure everything is as you said it is. And if they do, all you have to do is what's called assign the contract to them. And that's another one of the clauses that you have to put in. I'll talk about that in another point. But once again, if you want to know all this stuff, ask for the ebook. Give me the ebook. And you assign the contract, sign it over to the third party, and get your money. Sorry about that. Get your money, and you're done. At that point, you are completely out of the deal. Unless you negotiated something else. You might have said, hey, can I get a percentage of the profit off of here? You know, if it's a great deal, you've negotiated, you've put your effort into it to make this a super deal. Then you might negotiate a piece of it. Never know. You can say, hey, I negotiated this. I don't want any cash right now. What I want is 10% of the profit. So the profit is looking right now to be about $75,000 if you go ahead through with this deal that you're going to do. Mr. Investor, can I get a little bit of change? Can I get a woo woo? Yeah, I think you want some too. But that's up to you, up to your skills and up to your business model, how you're projecting it and how you're planning on doing this wholesale. A lot of ways to skin a cat. You just need to get the damn cat and get the damn knife and start the cutting. So whatever you decide to do, it's up to you. But this has been, that means we're done. Real Estate 202, wholesaling or flipping. If you want more information, you can comment below what you need, any question you have. Subscribe, like, hit the little bell so you can be notified anytime I put up another video. And we'll keep learning stuff every Saturday. Be ready for it. It's going to be either in the morning or going to be in the afternoon. Trying to actually get it on a complete schedule. So let me know what's best time for you. Comment that below. So this has been the J Word. Yep. Saturday business startup, real estate investing. We got one more week. Come back. We'll figure it all out. We'll put it all together next week. Remember, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.